Hello, everybody, every pony and undecided, and you're hearing from the horse's mouth. It's really no secret that even in the worst season, Season 3, even in the peak of it all, analysts and headcanoners have discussed about this one particular amulet that was never really explained and no one really ever mentioned it again. Well, after doing the recent headcanon videos with both the sorceress and the real Grogar, and I mean the real Grogar, I figured that this was about time that I would actually talk about the material that is known in Dragon Age, and somehow that I could coordinate it into the pony world with my fanfiction crossover Dragon Age Ponish. Oh, and by the way, this is a kind of spoiler territory for my fanfiction, yet a minor yet not surprisingly big spoiler alert for Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, and so on and so forth. Though if you wanted to know more about the source of all this, I would recommend, again, Gildahard's viewpoint on this particular material in her Templar's lore video, which I will put the links in the title card and in the description below. So, as I mentioned, the Memory Stone and even Grogar's Bell, which ironically enough had the similar same color in the magical form, is possibly made from a materialistic from the ground in the Blood of the Titans, if you want to go by Dragon Age canon, called Cribium. Which I know Cribium is, I will get to the source of why I changed the name from Lyrium to Cribium. Here's the reason why I chose that name in particular. Cribium is actually taking out the lyre and replacing with the crib, which cribbing, or a cribber, is actually a behavioral disability in horses, or pretty much an addictive substance in the mind of a horse, to where they hook their front teeth in anything horizontal, mostly a fence post or anything they could get in buckets, and they arch back and suck up the air, which kind of in a way gives the same hydraulics as masturbating. I know, not safe for cats, my foot!
She's clearly lost her mind.
So it would make sense to really rename Lyrium to Cribium, especially in the form of ponies, because Cribium, like any other addiction, is very hard to break away for any pony form, so just as much as their Dragon Age counterpart with Lyrium being very hard to withdraw from, especially if you have been doing it for a certain length of time. Now, I have not figured this out yet, if this was actually in the lore itself, or like in the Dragon Age Inquisition, a lot of Lyrium was smuggled even into the world, which now we all know and love as the land of pastel-colored ponies, which it could be smuggled through Minotauruses or diamond dogs, which it would make sense that diamond dogs would be the ones that would help harvest the stuff, since they actually aren't effective like the dwarves to the substance, and they would be the ones to craft whatever is needed. So it wouldn't be a surprise that these guys were also responsible for creating, with the basis of the Memory Stone, Grogar's Bell, and yes, even the Alicorn Amulet. Now, in the past, I have talked about that both the Memory Stone and Grogar's Bell were pretty much in a subtle, controlled environment of magic, but it was still powerful enough to even manage to give the Legion of Doom, and with the little pony included, Alicorn powers. Which begs the question, is Cribium capable of helping enhance the power of an individual or any creature or any form? And the answer? Yes, because it actually makes sense in, again, the lore of Dragon Age, which the Templars and mages, and occasionally dwarfs needed for the golems, it's pretty much like a source of energy, which for a headcanon video for another day, it could possibly have helped started the foundation of the two Alicorn sisters. I mean, that is highly possible due to Cozy Glow being able to be turned into an Alicorn without a musical montage or recently being born as one. Ooh, that's going to be a headcanon that I will be working on. But the most very powerful and potent version of the substance in the form of Red Cribium is a little more aggressive in its power and form. We have seen both examples of that in Dragon Age 2 with Hardrin and Knight Commander Meredith, taking possession of the red lyrium idol in the case, which Commander Meredith actually took it into her sword and it corrupted her, as well as Bargerin. But there were two different kinds of madnesses there. One with Bargerin was to the point where he was hearing the song and the voices within the idol, yet he had to get rid of it and sold it to, surprise, surprise, the tyrant Knight Commander Meredith, which throughout the entire final boss battle, we've seen that she had gained wicked power. It was then to the point where the power overwhelmed her, it shattered, and well... Whew! Trixie, thank goodness Twilight beat you in the battle, or you could end up like this! Speaking of the great and powerful Trixie, didn't Knight Commander Meredith's madness and longing for an increase of power sound familiar to you, bronies? Yep! A year right after Dragon Age 2 was released, I think the writers were inspired by that boss scene, or maybe before, or some writer's pool or something, but it is strongly similar, where Trixie used to be a over-the-head incompetent unicorn to now being a mean and nasty and surprisingly overpowering, almost to the point where she didn't want to add wheels over to the wagon, and I thought the tyranny of King Washington was almost maddening. But as Fluttershy had pointed out, that the more she uses the Alicorn Amulet, the more it corrupted her. Same thing as Knight Commander Meredith. So it does really show that the red substance, and it had the right reason to be locked away and sent away, and I wondered where Sakura ended up putting that thing, or how did it end up getting sold? So, could it be possible that the merchant right in an unknown town where Trixie got the unicorn amulet pretty much had went through the same song madness as Bargerin and sold it off? Which also begs the question, how could it be stored? Why was it made? Well, the Alicorn, again, it's a little sneak peek of my Alicorn theory for my entire series that I'm building up, is supposed to symbolize authority and power, and to show that dominance in magic, since again, the unicorns were the dominant race. And does that particular country sound familiar to you, Dragon Age fans? That will be a video for another day. So what are your all's thoughts and feelings on it? Are there any magical abilities throughout the realm of both Equestria Girls and MOP that had Caribbean powers? What are your all's thoughts about it? I am the Dark Horse of KC. Have a good, creative, and blessed day.